Good morning, Facebook. How is everybody today?
Morning, Cal. How are you, girl?
Good morning, Erica. I'm good. I'm excited to be here today. I love these and I love our conversation. And so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we don't get to do it often enough.
I know. I wish we could do more.
It's fun when we get to do that.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, a quick introduction. We are a Readiness Group. We are a training and development company, and we focus on building resilient cultures and communities. And so we talk all things resiliency, in addition to, what do you do when the big, bad, ugly happens? And so I am Dr. Kelly Guidry, and I'm going to let Erica introduce herself.
And I'm Dr. Erica Slee, Doctor of Physical Therapy.
Awesome. So today we are going to talk about making meaning in the holiday season. We have exactly 7 days until Christmas Eve is here. Are you ready for Christmas?
Not a bit. I am so behind. I was just trying to order gifts on Amazon and already getting the sorry that won't arrive by Christmas notification. So I'm gonna have a lot of gifts, pictures of gifts wrapped under the Christmas tree this year. But, whatever, it works.
That's funny. Yes, I have been doing the same thing. And I think that's part of why we wanted to have this conversation, because this time of year can get so chaotic. All of the pressures of, family, they're awesome. We love them, but there's a lot of pressures and expectations there. And so all of that, in addition to the gift buying and just everything that comes along. It's such a wonderful time of the year, and we don't want you to lose your joy in the chaos of this season. And so we wanted to just come and kind of share some tips for how can you make some meaning this season and maybe do it as a family to kind of regroup and all that good stuff. So.
I love that. And I also love your shirt. I believe in Santa. I think that's amazing.
You flip it the other way, it says, I believe in pizza, which I don't even know what that means.
I also believe in pizza. I'm a fan of both of those.
Anyway, okay, so we want to talk about kind of making meaning, and we're going to use an acronym called MARY. I thought I could share my screen here, but I don't think I can, so I'm going to drop it in the comments section. So we have a little infographic, and you can feel free to keep it as a picture, download it, and use it if you would like. But we want to talk about the acronym MARY. So we're going to kind of get in the season. And so the first one, the M, we want to propose the idea that maybe in the 5 days of leading up to Christmas, you can try something new each day. And so M is going to be this concept of making a new family tradition. Tell me what you think about that, Erica?
I love it. I think you could take this two ways, because some people already have phenomenal traditions and they don't maybe want to start a new one. If you don't have a tradition, it's make a new family tradition. If you do already have one, then it's make time for your tradition, which I think is important this year, because a lot of people that we've talked to, me, myself included, just feel like Christmas has snuck up on them this year. I know my tree, it's providing beautiful light in my living room, but there are no ornaments on it right now. You know what I mean? Because I haven't made the time for that. And so it is special to our children, and it is important to ourselves, to take the time, just a small amount of time to be present for some of those things. And so clearing out just, an hour in your schedule to find some new tradition or to make time for a tradition that already exists in your family, I think is a really good thing. And we've got a week now until Christmas. And, we kind of were thinking we would kick this off on Monday. I'll be in Indiana with my husband's side of the family on Monday, and we'll actually be celebrating Christmas on Monday because my brother-in-law will be in town. And so I think some kind of fun, very small, very simple. It doesn't need to be over the top, but some very small tradition to be present with would be really important.
Yeah. What kind of family traditions do you already have, Erica?
We are big on baking Christmas Christmas cookies. My kids love to bake, and we've started doing this tradition the last couple of years where we buy one of those really amazing Christmas cookie magazines, and my girls go in and flag the corners of all the cookies that they love, and then we bake them, a couple a week, really, recipes. We try new recipes a couple a week, and I buy plates so that we can deliver them as we bake them, so I don't eat them all Christmas long, and give them to neighbors and that kind of thing. And then we have our traditional sugar cookies, the decorated sugar cookies that we do each year. So we have made time for that. I haven't gotten the ornaments on my tree, but we have done a lot of baking this Christmas, and so we got that in. How about you, Cal?
I think so. A big one is we do pajamas every year, so new Christmas pajamas. And then the other one is every Christmas morning we get up and make homemade hot chocolate and pancakes together.
Oh, I love that.
And
Do you do
so,
that before or after Santa?
well, so far we've been able to do it after. This year will be interesting because Tylee is now 7, and so the wait is not as easy. So we'll see.
Ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this year. And this year we actually are going to start something new. So we typically try to get out and look at Christmas lights, but we decided to start making that a Christmas Eve tradition. So hopefully this Christmas Eve, we're going to go out and try to find some new lights to look. So
I like that. Yeah.
So I think it'll be fun. Okay. So go ahead. I didn't mean to.
I was just going to say, Brenda, who is my mom, if people don't know, started a tradition when we're with with my side of the family of Christmas caroling, which a lot of people are like, oh God, we're going to, we have to print out the songs, bring a little radio thing with us and have backup music, like the whole thing. And everybody thought it was going to be terrible. It was one of the coolest experiences because people were just so excited to see Christmas carolers. And we got to reach one little girl, this was a couple of years ago, who had been diagnosed with leukemia and couldn't go out, but we were able to carol from the sidewalk to sing to her. And it was I hope that it was special for her. For us, it was special to be able to see her from a distance and sing. And so just kind of a cool thing that we've done that Brenda started, and everybody was reluctant, but it was amazing.
I love that. I can totally see her leading the charge on that. Like, all right.
Oh yeah. It's gonna happen. It's happening. Yeah.
When Mimi says it, we do.
Yeah. Amen.
Awesome. Well, cool. Okay, so find a way to either continue a family tradition or make a new family tradition. Jumping into the E's, so engage in a family activity. And this kind of sounds like, okay, what's the difference, right? Of tradition versus activity. But this is something that just you do together. Get together, go for a walk, play a game. Go run errands together. How many times does the whole family get in the car and go run an errand,
Yeah.
But do something together just to kind of engage in that family time and trying to reconnect, to kind of help make some of that meaning.
Yeah. I think a good idea for this one too, depending on the age of your kids, is to let your kids pick that activity.
Yeah.
Just something simple at home. Again, the best way to do this is not to overcomplicate it, but just something simple and easy and tiny that you can do with your family. But, you can say to your kids, we've got an hour and I want you to go pick something in this house that's fun for us to do together. And we're going to do it together for the whole hour. And just watch what they come up with, because they get to lead the charge on it, and it's just a good way of being present in this holiday time, to do something that's meaningful to your kids.
Yeah. And my challenge to everybody would be to put technology away when you do this. So whatever it is that you're doing, just make it a roll, have a basket, everybody throw their phones, devices, whatever it is in that basket, and try to just have that quality family time.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, the first R, and I love this one. I think it's a really fun one. And again, I think if your kids can have a voice in this, I think it'll be amazing to see what they come up with. But the first R is find a way to do a random act of kindness. And so what are some ideas you have for what that can look like?
Um, I like my kids. One year, I'll tell this thing that my kids have done before in Christmas. We'll have to do something different this year because we won't be in town. But they made Christmas cards just randomly. They were a little bit younger, and so they got out their markers and their paper, their construction paper, and just made Christmas cards and got on their bikes together and biked all over the neighborhood and put Christmas cards in people's mailboxes.
Oh, I love
It was the cutest thing. They thought it was so much fun. And they got all excited. They would make one and go deliver it, make one and go deliver. Like they were just really excited about it. So that was a really easy, fun thing that we were able to do. For us baking, we do a lot of cookie delivery. That's one of our favorite Christmas random acts of kindness that we do. Angel tree is another one that we actually this year have gotten a puppy angel tree from our dog obedience place, which the girls think is super fun. So that's a good time. But so you can come up with something so creative, and it's amazing how something small can be so inspirational for your holiday season. How about you guys, Cal?
Yeah, hands down. So I decided this year that our elves were going to give missions to Tyler each day.
Uh-huh.
And some of the things, so she's been doing some random acts of kindness along the way. But some of the things are as simple as smile. Like, if somebody seems kind of grumpy, give them a big old smile and just try to engage in that way. And that kindness goes a super long way. The other, another simple one, giving someone a compliment, just kind of pointing out something that you like or appreciate about them, and going out of your way to do so. And then I think about too, so my mom is doing Secret Santa at her office right now. And so, obviously there's some built-in expectation that you're going to give gifts, but she kind of went above and beyond and baked a dish. So the lady loved Reese's peanut butter, so she baked her. I should share the picture. It looks amazing. It's like this Reese's peanut butter cookie thing that she baked her. And yeah, I know. And so
sign me up. Tell your mom I also like Reese's.
But I think little things like that, just trying to go out of your way to kind of spread some of that cheer, and just kind of being just extra kind and generous.
I'll tell you another thing that we're doing, and this could be something that your kids do too, especially if they're older, but I'm doing it actually with a group of my sister-in-law, my cousin, and kind of my cousin-in-law, I guess you could call her, also my cousin. It's the four of us, and we get together every now and again and just kind of reconnect, talk about well-being, talk about struggles, all that kind of stuff to kind of support each other. And we are doing just letters to people, handwritten letters about what we love about them or to encourage them or support them. And we actually got this little book of quotes from this awesome store called Sugar Boo that's started in Georgia. It's like a little boutique, but it's a motivational, inspirational place. And we're sending some of these cool quotes that fit the people that we're sending the letters to. So we're each just doing a few of them for the holiday season. But that's another great way it's a way of supporting someone else, which uplifts you, and just writing a handwritten message of love or gratitude or support for those people can be really powerful too.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so we've gone through making a family tradition, engage in a family activity, a random act of kindness. This one is one of my favorites, and I can't wait to hear your story. So the next R is relive one of your all-time favorite Christmas experiences or moments. So it gives me chills just thinking about it because, again, the holiday season just brings out it's some of my favorite memories as a child, yes. I know. And so I think being able to relive the ones from our childhood, but also making these memories for our own kids and watching them live them in the present, how cool is that? Yes. And so the idea is sit around and share, right? Relive some of that. Let your kids share theirs. You share yours. Involve the whole family in this one. But let me hear yours. I'm excited.
Oh, okay. I've got so many. If we're talking about childhood memories, I think probably one of my favorite was one year our parents, we lived in the Philippines. We were in the military and stationed at Clark Air Base in the Philippines. And our parents surprised us with Christmas with good friends of ours, the Elams, their family, now. And we had Christmas on Christmas Eve, and we didn't all know why, but we went to bed that night, and then we got up and jumped on a military plane and flew to like a beach vacation, like both families together. And it was just one of the coolest memories, I think, of my childhood, of getting to go with them and have this awesome vacation and do that. I think with my kids, I think it's small stuff. We haven't done any over the top, that kind of thing, but it's these small traditions. One of my favorite things that we do is on Christmas Eve when we're in town, we have a Christmas Eve soups where everybody brings their own favorite soup in, and we have a Christmas Eve party, and the girls get messages from Santa, and we do a gift exchange, and my dad absolutely loves gift exchanges. So I think that's probably my favorite Christmas memory that we have with the girls. And when Santa's message arrives, seeing the look on their faces when Santa, like Sydney, my youngest, when Santa tells her if she's on the nice or the naughty list, her face is like, like she's questioning which one she should be on, I just love that. So how about you?
That's awesome. I think so from childhood, so my family, I now live in the Houston area, but I grew up in El Paso. And so Christmas was always like a really big deal at my family's in El Paso, but we had to split time. And so we always, when I was really little, like my parents made it a big deal that we were home either Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. So we could do Christmas, the three of us, before having, to go do family things. And so I remember one night we caught the red eye back, and it was Christmas Eve, it's the red eye. And we get home and all of us were wide awake. I mean, wide awake. And it was like midnight. And so we made our hot chocolate and we opened presents at midnight. And it was one of the coolest. I mean, it was just so much fun. And we laughed and we danced and we sang, and then we crashed for a while, and then we got to go and do Christmas on the other side of my family. So, and then I think with my own kids, this will be Weston's first, which is exciting because I think he might be walking by next week. We'll see.
Oh, I love that.
And then he'll be into everything. But I think, so one of my favorites, I have an uncle who dresses up as Santa every year for all the kids. And so he has made it a thing to call Tyler. He'll FaceTime her, and so she gets a FaceTime from Santa. And one year, my daughter has asked for makeup every single year since she was 2. So every year it's always on her list. And this was probably when she was 3 or 4, and Santa called her. We happened to be at my mom's house when he called, and she said to him, "I really just want some makeup, Santa," and he was like, "I'll see what I can do," and hangs up. And then we were opening presents at my mom's that night, and she got the makeup, and she looked and she goes, "He is so quick." I think that was that belief, right? That just belief. I think it's so incredible. So
yeah. I think it's important here to talk about when Christmas is hard, because this is a good thing to engage, because Christmas is not always wonderful. I mean, you go through some hard times. We've had some Christmases when my husband and I were stationed in Korea. We were at different bases. We were able to be together, but we were apart from family, and that was challenging. Deployments. People going through divorce and having to find new ways to invent Christmas for their family in those situations, loss and grief. I mean, there's so much that can make Christmas 10 times harder than it is wonderful, and so I think it's really important here to talk about the fact that is a reality, and that finding ways to increase connection in those moments as much as you can, whether that's with family or whether that's with friends or new friends or by serving others or whatever it is, whatever avenue you can find to that connection can help to, I think, find perspective, maybe is the right word for it when it comes to challenging holidays. And I think perspective is really important. I mean, if you can get to a place where you can bring these memories back into your life, and if those memories can bring you joy in hard moments of Christmas, especially I think about grief and the holidays that you've shared with loved ones and what that was for you, and how wonderful those memories might be. I think it's really important that sometimes it's not easy. I mean, sometimes you've got legitimate reasons why the holidays suck,
Right.
and we're big believers in peer support, and we're big believers in connection. And I truly believe that finding some avenue, even if it needs to be with a therapist, because those avenues of connection to others are not very open right now. Whatever it needs to be, finding some way to connect with others can be really powerful when the holidays are hard.
Yeah, and which is why this R, right, this reliving experience is so important because there's so much power in the idea of storytelling. And
Yes.
and when we can tell those stories, we can relive those emotions, and there's just a lot of power in that. And so part of that peer support, while you talk about the struggles and the grief, and then you turn it into, hey, let me share some of the positive moments that I can remember. It can shift that dynamic too, and it just gives you a different way to connect with that person.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
if
a
that hardship is financial, I mean, it can be really hard
yeah.
when you're going through Christmas and you have kids and they've got, things that they want and they see friends getting and that kind of stuff. It can be a really powerful thing, a really powerful gift that you give your children, to sit down and share stories and to come together and talk through wonderful memories. That's more powerful than the presents. And so if you can start with that, it can be a really powerful. And I've heard, and I do this every Christmas, because I think it's a really important thing, that the gifts that kids get from Santa aren't the extravagant ones, and I think that's a really powerful thing to be able to give to the world, because when your kids come and share that they got a new car or a brand new expensive bike or whatever it might be from Santa, that can be really discouraging to other children. And so that's something that I've tried to practice myself. Just a little thing to throw in there.
I love that. I have one story to share before we jump into the why.
Mhm,
Uh, that's not my story, but my grandmother, so my dad's mom, her mom passed away when she was 7 years old on Christmas Eve.
mhm.
And it was very hard. I mean, you can only imagine at 7 losing mom. As an adult, she decided that she wasn't going to let it be a sad holiday anymore. And so that's why Christmas is with her world. I mean, I'm not kidding you, like floor to ceiling presents. And it was
Mhm.
not extravagant stuff, but it was a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because she wanted it to be super special. But her very first Christmas with my grandfather, it's one of my favorite stories because he was also military, and they were stationed in I believe it was New York. I don't know. I could be
Mhm.
making that up. But anyway, they didn't have a lot of money, and so they couldn't afford a Christmas tree. But by gosh, she was determined that it was going to be special, and so she stuck a broom upside down in the corner, and she strung lights around it.
Yes.
Put those presents under the tree, and she made it something special. And I think that, that signifies the financial, the grief, the kind of all of it. Just you have the power to turn those hardships into something that can be super meaningful for you.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
you do it through this merry kind of concept, however you want to see it, that these things, these random acts of kindness, these spending time together, making traditions that don't have to be huge extravagant traditions, smaller the better,
yeah,
reliving wonderful memories. These are the gifts that we should be giving our children. And this is the way that, I mean, and I'm not going to sit here and say that would be easy in a time of struggle. I don't want to minimize the struggle that anyone's going through by any means. But if you can get to a place where you can focus on these things, hopefully it can help you to find some of that joy, and perspective in your holiday traditions. So I love that story. I think that's awesome.
a broom.
choice. It's a choice that she made. It's gonna be something, and we're gonna make it special. And I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the big one, the why, right? And so this one, it's a play on words. It doesn't start with why, but it is about what is your why, because that is it. At the end of the day, that is kind of what gives us this concept of meaning and purpose.
Mhm.
And so we talk about the why a lot, and we talk about ways to hopefully help find your why. It's not always an easy concept, but the idea with this is maybe on that fifth day, taking some time to just reconnect, maybe relook at, why do I do what I do?
Yeah.
Why am I living the life I'm living right now? And what is it that just fuels me and gets me going?
Mhm. Yeah. And I think it's a great conversation to have as a family at the end of the year. Did we chase our whys? Did we pursue our whys throughout the last year? And if not, what do we need to do to pursue them next year? How do we want to change that or advance that or whatever? We had a phenomenal training. Shout out to the City of Cedar Hill, Texas library. We should tag them in this if they're on Facebook, because they are an incredible group of people. And if you live in the city of Cedar Hill, you need to spend time amongst this group of people in their library because they're wonderful. But we spent an hour talking with them about their why. And we showed up and they had Christmas music on and this beautiful coffee station and breakfast. And just this amazing, wonderful group of people that just, sow seeds of support and gratitude and appreciation for each other on a daily basis. And we talked all about the why, and it was invigorating for us. It renewed our energy just because of how wonderful they are. And so I think it's a great conversation to have, to spark joy and to spark adventure and creativity and curiosity and new perspective. I also think it's a great way to look at possibly providing gifts for your children. Because I think if you kind of understand what their why of their moment is as children, you can go towards giving them experiences rather than things. If you know that your child's why, for instance, my girls, part of their why, both of them, is animals. And so trying to give them experiences around that passion that they have in life is a really great thing rather than giving them material objects, right? And so just another way of looking at how can we make this Christmas more meaningful, that carries on and invigorates us into the new year and into 2022, if you can believe it, that's coming down the road pretty soon.
No, I do love that idea though of experience. I think that's a huge one, right? And it can play into that. Last year, one of my daughter's favorite gifts was the radish box, which is like a cooking club.
Yeah.
She loves to help. She loves to help in the kitchen, and sometimes it can take us longer. And we've got to practice patience on. Okay, we got to remember,
Mhm.
but it was such the perfect thing because everything is laid out in pictures. She can pull everything out. I mean, she can pretty much do it by herself with some supervision. And I think that piece, and then so I want to cook you guys dinner. And I mean, she'll make us a whole appetizer, dinner, and dessert.
Love it. That's awesome.
And it fuels her. And so I think that piece of it, right? I love what you said there with the being able to make experiences connect back to your why.
Yeah.
So,
One of the
go
one of
ahead.
the librarians we talked to yesterday, she is a librarian because of her child, because we talked about the why, and her why is connecting with and inspiring young children. Because when she was younger, she went to the library to get through hard things, and she had a librarian who touched her soul and inspired her in life, and that's what caused her to become a librarian. And she talked about her greatest moments are when a young child comes into that doesn't have a lot of resources and support, comes into the library, and she spends 30 minutes or an hour doing a puzzle with them or whatever that might be and connecting. That's her why, to reach those kids in that moment. And it was so inspiring to me because I said more of us need the ability to do that. Not many of us have the patience to be able to do that and be present for that kind of small but enormously profound connection that will probably influence those children's lives lifelong. And
Yeah.
so I think that's the power of the why, understanding your strengths and your passions and being able to connect that into something that makes the world a better place to live in.
Yeah.
And I think when we know that and we understand that, it lights a spark in our life that becomes contagious. We've talked a lot about contagious with Diane Rogers and her business Contagious Change. Becomes contagious to others because you see that difference and you want to be that difference. And I think having those conversations as a family can really make a profound impact on the year to come. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when we talk about why, this is because it can feel like an overwhelming concept, but the idea is think about your strengths, think about your passions, think about your values, and then think about your skills. What are you good at, right? And when you activate those four areas, then you're going to have some crossover there, and it's going to kind of start to shape and mold kind of what your why is. And
Yeah.
so think about that if you haven't had the time to sit down and really dig into your own why.
Yeah. What's your why, Kel?
I have it written down somewhere, and I have to know exactly what I wrote down, right? But that shouldn't matter because I should just be able to know what it is. But my why is really about being able to be creatively curious and help inspire other people to also be empathetic and curious in their own lives towards themselves and also to others.
I
Um,
love that.
kind
I
of
love
where
the term creatively curious. I think that's a cool way to look at it, you know, and that because I think that's the thing with the why. When we have that conversation, quite often, most people go towards my why is my family, which we totally agree with. We now call the family. We're like, okay, that answer, that's your above all else. You're forsake your own why, and we often do for our family. But what's your own personal why? And I love that with yours being creatively curious, you can take into so many different areas of what you do professionally, what you do with your children. That radish thing is a good example of that, to give her the opportunity to be creatively curious and to explore her passion of cooking and being able to do that for you. So I think that's something to keep in mind. It's your own specific internal thing that drives you and makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning. And then how do you apply that in all of the various aspects of your life, you know?
absolutely. What's your why, Erica?
Mine is to live adventure. Is the general crux of it, but I like to do it by helping others to be able to live theirs. Is kind of my thought, because it's really I love. It speaks to me as a PT. I love working with individuals to give them the equipment they need if they're in a wheelchair, or to give them the strength they need if that's what's keep getting in the way of them being able to live their adventure. And I love the concept of adventure because to me, that is all perspective. Adventure is on a Tuesday night going out and watching the sunset, or it's saving up for a lifelong trip that you've been wanting to do for forever and having the ability, if you're in a wheelchair, having the equipment to go make that happen for yourself. And so I do it as a PT. I love to do it in this way, communicating this message. I love to do it with my children and help them find their adventure. And so I like to take that into a lot of different aspects of life.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. You are awesome at having adventures too. I live vicariously through you most days. My kids are older. Okay, so our big takeaway and challenge is to go get married, right? So starting on Monday, the take that and try to apply maybe one of these each day, or start now, start whenever.
Yeah. And do all 5 of them each day, whatever you can fit.
But just to recap, make a new tradition, engage in a family activity, do a random act of kindness, relive those favorite Christmas moments and experiences that you've had, and then focus on that why. Maybe rediscover it, reevaluate it, look at it, and kind of see if you're chasing your why.
I love it.
Yes, I will drop that. Me and my tech issues have not been able to figure out how to make it go into the comment section, so I will make that happen on the back end of this.
Perfect. I'll put it in there. You're amazing. I love the image that you created for this. So if you can, once we get it in there, go and take a look at that picture and use it to inspire yourself.
Yeah. All right. Erica, thank you for joining me today. And if y'all have questions, comments, just let us know. We're happy to chat with whoever, whenever.
And I just want to throw this out there too. If you are struggling, if you hear this and it is a tough Christmas and you don't have a connection, reach out to us because we can help you find that. And it's really important to us that that message is put across because we know it's not all amazingness during the holiday season. Sometimes it's really hard. So if you need some assistance, please reach out to us. We would love to be there for you.
Yes. And on that note, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Christmas.
Bye.